Hey everybody, thank you for checking out this video. I went ahead and picked up a new microphone. I hope you guys can hear me a little bit better. Thank you for the comments and feedback. Nice trade. Went ahead and took care of that so you guys can not have the amp noise or be able to hear me depending on which problems you face with your audio. It was not you guys, it was on my end, so hopefully this is a little bit better. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Today was a pretty solid day in the markets. Behaved as we expected and got the same type of follow through momentum to the upside after the good news came out yesterday. A SPY starting off with that when it had its gap, it held, it tested it here in this 213 wash, but pretty much was straight up from there. I wasn't around to see the entire action take place, but I was able to monitor it while I was taking care of some other things. But it's good to see that we got this follow through momentum to the upside. Got some selling off late day after the 214 peak, but that's kind of expected when it didn't break out. Seemed to build a nice base along this 213.70s area, even 213.80s, and then made its push. And then when it's kind of what you call stuffed into this whole dollar number, it just sold off into the close. But it was really good to see with my plan that I had for my evening thoughts broke out on increased volume. I believe we get followed through Monday in potential gap. Expected ETFs to get some juice to move with it. And of course, got the gap ups. And I did comment that it could go to 215s. I wasn't necessarily expecting that today. It's given the gap up and it's a solid move. But at this rate, if we do continue to hold the gap up from previous resistance area, there's no reason why I can't continue on higher. So I'll continue watching that over the next few days. It's very important to a lot of the trades that I take, so I will stay hip to it. Slash GC, aka Spot. I had some wide range, and I noticed last night while I was making my watch list, it was somewhat close to 1375s, 77, or is that 1375, which is close to all-time highs of 1377s. But coming into the markets this morning, it kind of sold off, and I wasn't too much expecting that. Here we have 1366 or 1368, excuse me. So we got a gap down to start the day, and then of course around this area here is when the market went to open. But it was really interesting to see the way gold was selling off, but still getting bought at the dips. Yeah, I think traders are pretty indecisive as to their thoughts on where the gold price is versus their sentiments on gold as a whole, or maybe I need to learn more. I'm the one that's confused, but I am seeing all dips getting bought up. I did see some wicked selling off and profit taking the other last 2 days or so. So I believe the status quo has been reset, but it's interesting to see how much these levels are being supported, especially when I go to trade my favorite ticker Nugget. But it's, gold is giving this range, and at the rate that it's going, I don't see any reason why I can't cross over that 1500 significant number, maybe even push, thinking aggressively as I was talking with my trading partner, maybe up towards 1800. But we'll see. I'm not going to try to be a hero. Not going to try to predict the direction of the gold, but I will stay vigilant and continue to take in information as is presented to me and learn whatever I can from it. But continuing on from there, Netflix. I was expecting a morning push with the SPY gap. We got that. I didn't think it was going to wash this much. I wasn't prepared to trade it, but my idea on it was small range, continue to close around the 95 level. Not sure what can cause another spike, but technical level holding so far. Maybe preparing for to move higher. This is my morning plan. Was SPY gap 97 will serve as a good resistance near term, and it got up to 96.87. And I was pretty happy with that plan. I thought I would get a little bit more than what it gave us towards 97, but this is what the level that I identified going back into my daily. That's one chart I like to use. I didn't draw a line here because I called it out specifically at the 97, so I wanted to trust myself and just have that as a mental note. And I did see it hit the 97 and just got this nice fading action. I will be going back and doing my research tonight and putting some written post comments as to why this may have faded this much. Again, I wasn't exactly here for the market tick by tick like I normally like to be, but I will try to see if there was any news releases or something that caused this 2.5 point wash, which was really good activity, a lot of wide range. But it's good to see that how that worked out in the morning. Um, Come back to Nugget, TWLO. It's a good secondary watch for the IPO again. You got SPY gapping up, fully expected. No telling how far it will go. Markets will definitely help movement here, moving on the name. Usually with SPY, keep tracking, look for patterns set up on the daily and intraday charts. Nice range of volume so far. So I was bullish. Didn't really call out specific levels as I did on Netflix and LABU, but I expected this to go up. I was pretty occupied with Nugget. I've done a bad job of looking at other tickers, but I've done a good job of being prepared on Nugget, so I don't too much get thrown for a loop. Even though I wasn't expecting this type of range, but I'm more comfortable, if you will, with Nugget. So I continue on. Uh, Oil. I've I toggle this on and off between oil, Tesla, LABU, which I actually have on one of my main watchers right now. So I'll change one of these so you guys can see. But it was good to kind of look at the movement today of oil with my partner. We identified some certain levels. He was posting some brilliant comments on it. If you haven't already, guys, please find your trading partner, somebody you can benefit from and give benefit to, somebody you can that's like-minded at the same platform financially, if you can. Goals, aspirations as far as your trading, also as well as finding somebody that's ahead of you and behind you. But I think it's very beneficial that you all work with a trading partner if you're not already. But continuing on, I want to stay on track. Bring up LABU. LABU, it moved with the market. It was more toppy than I expected it to be early on. I thought it might have a bit more of a cleaner break to the upside. I wasn't too much expecting this wash. Even though SPY was pulling, I just thought shorts might be trapped. Granted, it still had a buck of range to the upside and then sold off for $1.50 to the downside. But my trading plan was pretty straightforward and kind of depended on the price action working out immediately. So my morning plan was some gap. If SPY holds, we'll look for long off higher lows and some activity to the upside. Potential support 34.32, but if it clears 35, has room to run. So you see, watch out to red to green or green to red test, spiked up, higher low. This is where I would have been getting on the dips, but like I said, it was trading a little bit lower than what I was looking for, and then SPY was looking like it was going to sell off in this area. So I didn't pull the trigger on the trade, but it was good to see these important levels held, and then I got the push towards 35. It never cleared, so I would have been off if not in this area, somewhere up in here. Can't say I would have shorted it, but I would have at least been down to a quarter size, if not completely out, had I taken it long. And then as it followed, it's a little bit ahead of SPY. Again, I'll just try to do my research and maybe I'll post some comments into the post market review section here. But it faded off. Oh, and now that I'm looking at it, apologize for the font. I've been working on it. It's kind of frustrating. I'm not exactly sure why the tools on my blog spot is not allowing me to change the font. Because if I do change it and make it bigger, this column will be smaller, and then this one will be larger than the rest of them. And there's a lot of inconsistencies that I'm working on sorting out. But as soon as I can, I'll make this a little bit bigger. It looks different in my back office, but I've been paying attention more to the details, especially after the comments, helpful comments regarding getting another microphone. So I'm looking over things more and not just slapping them up, trying to put out a better quality product for you guys. Even though I do use this all for myself, given that people will be looking at it, I want to make sure I put some really top stuff out there so you guys can feel comfortable while you're studying, learning, whatever it may be from my material. But continuing on, actually this will be the first time I look at TSRO since I've been back. Okay, it's been gapping down under the significant 90 level, kind of consolidating. If we pull up, if we look at the daily, back over. After this monster gap, to me this is kind of consolidation. I don't really see a reason to panic yet. Got the next support level 85, and then not again until 80. So it's got some room. I expected this type of action. Actually, I wouldn't mind having a washout day and reclaim off of this 85 level, and then so continue higher, potentially break towards this 90 again, and then push on 95, and then of course that 100 significant mental number. But this kind of action is fully expected. May have wanted to see a little bit more had I been planning to actively trade it, simply because SPY is gapping up so nicely and we had to follow through volume. But this is really action that you can't really complain about. I mean, still $2.50 a range with the and then peak off at the 90, so it offered really clean opportunity. And as I'm going over this video with you guys, it's the breakdowns are looking really clean. Everything is kind of afternoon 2:30 ish, 3:30 ish, 2:30 ish Eastern. It's kind of just everything is just faded off except for gold. It did have a pullback intraday on Nugget, and where are we? Oh nope, Spot did have a wash, so they were kind of out of sync a little bit. But back on track. These are kind of things that I just kind of try to observe in my post market. I'm figuring it out as I go, trying to learn from people that are more experienced, working diligently with my trading partner. But there's plenty of opportunity, and being able to attack the markets is really about sticking around long enough to find something that works for you. There's no one way to skin this cat. So find something that's enjoyable and challenging. Keep working on your weaknesses, but ride your strengths. There's no reason to walk away unprofitable and not learn anything. It's either got to be one or the other when you're fresh to the markets. Even in the first 5 years, it's really always something that you can develop within that time period, and it's about growing consistency. So I pretty much covered everything on my watch list. Hopefully, you guys kind of see what I was thinking, and you have all the tools here that you can kind of review it and maybe compare it versus yours. Today, I did stick to Nugget again. I just like the opportunities that were there in the morning. So after the selling of Nugget, I've been seeing my notion of Nugget having to kind of wash out to recuperate itself or reset the status quo is kind of dissipating at the longer it's holding up at these levels. And same thing for gold, because right now there's still a lot of uncertainty. Even though we're breaking out to new highs as far as the markets are concerned, there's still a lot of confusion. Like I said, the run up after the Brexit came into fruition, it lit a fire under gold, and especially in this area, this day I was there but didn't work out like I wanted it to. Whatever. These 2 days, Nugget specifically was able to shave anywhere from 15 to 20 points, and it's been selling off nicely throughout the day. So really, from this point on, I think we've kind of sold off enough to start to get pushed higher as the dips are getting bought. It's just ripping nicely. This 170 is serving as a nice top, but once it does clear it, I don't see any reason why it can't go to 180, 190, maybe even 200. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself and switch over from looking for a huge monster pullback to looking for a monster rip. But I've kind of reset my mental position on the Nugget. If anything, I do expect the overall long-term trend to be bullish, so I'll keep that in mind whenever I'm looking to short or maybe even long. But hey, if we get a flash crash again to where we get a push to 150, I may try to start a swing position. Maybe take a tiny amount of shares and just kind of see what happens. But I'm really liking this opportunity, and the trades that I took on it were two longs early in the morning session. I liked the activity that I saw. They were both all in this area. I like that we had to wash out. I missed some buying opportunity here. I didn't want to force it, so I figured it was gonna rip. Maybe I could have chased it, whatever. I didn't, so I let it go. Saw that it was pushing into this 164 level where I had the plan to short sell anything risking off 165, but it moved so violently that I thought we might get a little bit more than we did, so I just let it run. Didn't take the short, and then when it started to pull back, I did start in here for the long uh, with the partial position, and then it started working out a little bit for me. I added, but out of nowhere it sold off, and I didn't really want to fight with the action, so I just took it off for a little less than minus a point, which was well within my risk parameters. And then the second trade was after the reclaim. I bought it, but I'm going to run out of time. I'll leave comments. Thank you for checking out my video. Have a great day.